today we have an F350 with a 6.2 liter gas engine under the hood. The owner's complaining of lack of torque, and he has a friend who has the same truck, and he says his friend's truck's way quicker. We see that all the time here at the dyno shop. We put them on the dyno. They don't make the advertised power that they're supposed to make. We're able to look at why they don't make the power, and if it's in the tune, if it's in the fact that it's getting too much fuel, not enough fuel, the spark, the torque, the cam, the transmission, things are set wrong, then Wally can walk through and he can do his standard procedure, which is to give it lots more torque down low, a lot more horsepower all the way through the range, and fix the transmission so it shifts correctly. Let's go. Alrighty, whenever a customer comes in, I always do the math and sort of get an estimate of what I think they should make to the wheels, roughly. Most of the time it's based on 15%, but let's be serious. This is an F350. So it's really meant to have a big diesel in it, like a 6.7 with 900 foot-pounds of torque and 450 some horsepower. But when you put a gas engine in there, you get really good, reliable, a fun truck, but it's a lot of loss. So I figured it out at 25% loss. At 25% loss, we should have seen 308 horse or thereabouts. This is not even close. So we had a run that was 178 horse. We had one at 181, and I think this was the best right over my shoulder here at 184 horsepower. It doesn't sound bad when it runs, but it makes no power whatsoever, and that's the customer's biggest complaint. It just doesn't seem to have a lot of get up and go. Wally's going to give us a little insight as to why it is so bad when he gets out later on, but for right now, let's just go through and do the basics. Let's get the fueling correct. Let's get the cam timing correct. Let's walk through making sure that the ignition timing is correct for the fuel and see what it does and how it comes to life. We'll take a peek over here. So right now, we've got, from what I can tell, it's either a torque management issue or a complete fueling issue, because it comes on and then it shuts off, comes on and shuts off. And by the time you're at 3,800, it's done. This engine just completely rolls over and it's all done. 184 horse, 241 foot-pounds. For something that's supposed to make 385 horsepower at the crank and 450 foot-pounds of torque at the crank, I think we're going to make this into a really nice truck from where it is right now. Okay, a few reasons why this is so hard on fuel. One, it's a big truck, it's a heavy truck, but the gearing is really, really short on this. Gas engine, heavy truck, short gearing. It turns 5,700 RPM and it only goes 85 mile an hour. You're talking about a 4.8 gear, which means the engine's turning 4.866 times for every one time that the rear wheel turns. That's really short gearing. It's a work truck, so of course you want to have that. And if it was a diesel, of course you want to have it because they don't rev anyway. However, with a gas engine and that short of a differential gear, it's going to be a lot of fuel used just to make the revolution of the tire go around once. That's why it's so hard on fuel. We're working on that. We're going to give them lots more power, lots more down low torque, and we're probably going to gain, this might be our biggest gain ever in fuel mileage. Normally we'd say 1.5 to 3 is kind of normal, but in a truck like this, my guess is we're going to gain 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 when we're all done. It's at 27 liters per 100 right now. That's basically tow a gas station around behind you. It's almost up to where we thought it should be when it came in here. We had said right around 308 horsepower, and we were down like even 6 passes. We were still to go 229. Wally's got it. He's figured out what the problem was, why the tune was so far off, and he's worked his way to the point where we now have just shy of 300 horse and 328 foot-pounds. 330 foot-pounds is 25% loss on 450. We're good there. I'm good with that. Because this is a work truck, I've chosen to kind of look at the torque curve. The horsepower is almost exactly where we thought it would be when it came in if it was at a normal area. It should have been just over 300 horsepower to the wheels. That's at a 25% loss. But what we were looking at was the fact that the torque curve would come up and then just shut off. At 3,800, every single time, the torque would just fall over and die. And that's because the throttle was closing. So if the throttle physically closes, obviously you can't make any power. Wally had to basically go through and find out what was causing that to close, reprogram it, rewrite that back to the computer, and make it work normal. So over my shoulder, I want to show you the difference in the torque from the time it entered till the time it's leaving. This is going to make a much more drivable product, especially in an F350. You've got just shy of 300 foot-pounds as soon as you touch the gas now, where before you had just shy of 180. You were peaking out under 240 foot-pounds. You're now peaking out just shy of 330 foot-pounds, which is where it is supposed to be from the factory. So we've given them back a normal truck to drive. It'll be a lot more fun. It'll be better on fuel and just a better overall product to drive.